everyone, and welcome back to another session of Dark Souls 2 PvP and another weapon showcase. This time I am using the Drangleic sword, which you can get very early on in the game. Now, where you get this sword, it's right after the Pursuer's boss fight. There is that little ledge you can go down and drop onto where there's some items. And in that set of items, in that pickup, there is the Drangleic armor set, the shield, and this sword, which is a very good sword for early on in the game, and even at later points in the game it still can be very useful. Now, getting started with the weapon itself, it requires 25 strength and 20 dexterity in order to wield. It has a C scaling in strength and a B scaling in dexterity. At plus 5, it has a physical base damage of 280, and with the Ring of Blades plus 2, its attack rating is 456. So without the Ring of Blades plus 2, it would be 406. You know, it's the extra 50 points of damage, which, I mean, come on, you can't pass that up. In addition to that, the counter strength is 120, the poise damage is 35 per hit, and it weighs a total of 9 units. So overall, you know, it's a pretty straightforward weapon. It's just your average greatsword. The real big thing with this weapon, though, is the fact that you're able to access it so early on in the game, and because of that, you have a very powerful weapon that can carry you through most of the game. This one is in a lot of ways like the Drake sword, if you ask me, because it doesn't require too terribly much in the way of stats, and if you do have the stats to wield it properly, it upgrades along the Twinkling Titanite upgrade path, meaning it's got a high base damage, and that can be very good for you at the beginning of the game. So you'll be one-shotting a good amount of stuff if you can wield it. And, I mean, come on, that's a good thing for PvE. That's a very good thing. It's always a good thing to be able to one-shot enemies just randomly throughout the game. Up until a certain point, of course. And then it starts to be a little less useful, but even at level 150 in PvP, it is still a viable choice. The greatswords this time around have a pretty good moveset. The greatsword, the Drangleic sword, has a thrusting attack with its R2, followed by a spin if you do the second R2. And if you hit someone with the first, you're pretty much guaranteed to hit someone with the second. So that being said, it's able to combo very easily, like most weapons in the game, due to the lack of poise. But it's a good weapon. It really, really is a good weapon. It's got a decent damage output. It can be buffed like pretty much every weapon in the game. It's got a relatively fast moveset, and it can be a little deceiving. People don't necessarily expect the speed that it has. So, say there's a person trying to run away, like what's about to happen right here. He gets to roll away, but I still managed to poke him with my R2. Not everyone would expect that, and if he had lower health, then that might have finished him. But, you know, that's if he had lower health, and, well, as you can see, he didn't, so... Anyway, the pros and the cons of the weapon. Oh, excuse me, losing my voice a little bit. Oh, man. Sorry about that. The pros and the cons of the weapon. Now, this weapon, I would definitely have to say that the biggest pro would be the fact that it can be accessed so early on in the game. And that backstab right there, that backstab attempt, you know, that's one of the things that really is kind of annoying me about this game sometimes. I don't want to always be trying to do a backstab. I was so far away, that should have been just a regular greatsword swing. It would have stunned him, I could have followed it up, and I would have been able to finish him on my own before the other Bell Covenant member arrived. But, you know, that's one thing that really kind of annoys me. With Dark Souls, if you missed a backstab, you missed a backstab. In this, if you miss the backstab, if they're obviously out of range, you still go through that little punch animation, and then that can kind of screw you over. It's just something that you need to get used to, and it's something that I just need to get used to. And it'll happen in time, but it's still relatively annoying. It really, really is. Another thing that's annoying that I actually just thought of, I don't know if it's happened to many of you guys, but when you are invading someone, and then someone else invades as well, you get staggered a little bit and pushed to the side a little bit. I don't know why exactly it does that, especially because it doesn't matter where in the area you are. You could be fighting the host for all that matters, and then suddenly you'll be pushed away from him and staggered, for no good reason, simply because another phantom invaded. It's happened to me quite a few times. I've been killed because of it, I've been knocked off an edge because of it, and it's silly. It's really, really just silly. But, anyway, biggest con of the weapon. I would have to say that the biggest con of the weapon is the fact it's on a Twinkling Titanite upgrade path. Reason being, you have to be a little bit lucky to get enough Twinkling Titanite to upgrade this, and really, let's be honest, there are better things to invest your Twinkling Titanite in. So yeah, I mean, you can farm some areas like the Shrine of Amana for it, but come on. You can only use so many bonfire ascetics before you start to get bored of an area, and I'm honestly bored with that area. I'm on New Game +7 in that area, and I don't want to be any farther, to be honest, but I have to, so. Anyway, that's the last thing I've got to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, found it helpful in one way or another, and I will see you guys next time.